Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squared for boxing news and views from around the internet. The unbeaten Russian prospect Arslanbek Makhmudov is set to return to the ring July the 23rd in Mexico, where he will be headlining a card facing Pavel Sour. So Sour, the well-travelled journeyman. And it's not before time that Makhmudov is back here, because he's effectively been out of the ring for the best part of more than 18 months now. And that may sound strange given he had a fight in 2020, but given that was for all about 10 seconds, he stopped Dylan Carmen with effectively one of the first punches that landed. I mean, he's effectively had no ring action to speak of. So, yeah, 18 months since the Samuel Peter fight, which was the back end of 2019, and then you have 10 seconds of action versus Dylan Carmen. So he has actually not had a great time of things with COVID, and obviously this co-promotional deal with that he's picked up with Golden Boy has not actually sort of materialized into anything at the moment with fights in the United States. So the deal itself did allow that he could have a fight back in Canada with his other co-promoter, Eye of the Tiger Management, and they did do that for that Dylan Carmen one, and perhaps this is some sort of variation of this just down in Mexico. But he was meant to be fighting on a Golden Boy card back in April, I believe, but for whatever reason, never happened, and now we're a few months on and he's going to be fighting in July the 23rd. So in Sour, he's facing a guy that's got a record of 13-4, and yeah, I mean, Sour is okay, but the thing is here with Arslanbek Makhmudov, we've kind of seen this opponent a number of times before. They've been talking about wanting to, him to face better, more durable opponents, guys that can take him rounds, give him something to actually think about and test him. And I don't think Pavel Sour is the guy to do that. We've seen the sort of Pavel Sour types before. Sour has been facing, decent level opposition, but he's been getting basically starched by most of them. So Nathan Gorman stopped him in 2 rounds. Filip Hrgovic, when he was, what was his first or second pro fight, he stopped him in a round. And then you have also a loss to, knockout loss to Hughie Fury. Also Jermaine Franklin beat him. That was by decision, but Franklin's not exactly a power puncher, but Arslanbek Makhmudov certainly is. So I don't know what he's going to get out of this, because he is a big puncher, and I think Arslanbek Makhmudov is going to stop Pavel Sour in under 2 rounds. And don't get me wrong, it is good to see him again, and I'm sure you'll be able to catch this either via punchinggrace.com or the last Eye of the Tiger Management card that was also broadcast on Fight TV. So there will be avenues to watch Makhmudov. I like watching Makhmudov. He's exciting. He goes to basically knock you out with every single punch, loves the right uppercut, loves the right hand, and loves to bully his opponents and really go for blood. So it's interesting that it's Pavel Sour as the opponent, because, yeah, I'd rather not sort of see it, because we've been there, done that, got the postcard. Pavel Sour is the equivalent to guys like Dylan Carmen, Samuel Peter, Julian Fernandez, Avery Gibson, Jason Bergman. All of these guys that are already on Arslanbek Makhmudov's resume. So it's kind of more of the same sort of fodder. So I guess maybe because he's effectively been out for so long, if it's a case of this is just a quick tune-up and then a turnaround a month or 2 later into a more meaningful fight, well, I can forgive that. But if this ends up being his only fight for 2020, or there's one at the back end of the year and it's another disappointing opponent, well, you have to ask, what is his management doing for him and his career? Because he is 32 years old after all. The pandemic has not been kind to him. He's lost 18 months when he was gathering a real head of momentum in 2018, 2019, starting to build his name, starting to build that resume, get a bit of buzz and hype behind him. Fans were starting to know who Arslanbek Makhmudov was. And he's kind of gone ghost in the past, just over a year or so. And sure, not his fault, and there is a global pandemic, etc. But we have seen since June last year, a lot of prospects have been out multiple times, but Arslanbek Makhmudov just the one time, and it was for about 10 seconds. So, yeah, make of that what you will. But in terms of Pavel Sour, so he's actually put a comment on his Instagram saying 23rd July is the date, the hardest match of my career. Arslanbek Makhmudov, undefeated Russian tank. He did not let the absolute majority of the opponents into the third round. None of the 11 opponents have been able to omit him in the end of the match. Our fight will be for 10 rounds for the NABF title. I fly to Mexico to win over myself. So there's a bit more, but it's, you know, translated from Polish or whatever, so it's, you know, coming a little bit garbled. So anyway, so Pavel Sour saying this is the toughest fight of his career, or hardest fight. Yeah, he's probably right. Arslanbek Makhmudov is probably one of the bigger punches that he would have faced, if not the biggest. I mean, some will argue maybe Filip Hrgović hits harder than Makhmudov, but, you know, Makhmudov, when he hits you, you stay hit. And against a guy like Pavel Sour, who's prone to being knocked out. I mean, if Nathan Gorman is knocking out Pavel Sour in a couple of rounds, Arslanbek Makhmudov might knock him out with the first punch, kind of a la Dylan Carmen. It could be all over in one round, seriously. But I'm not picking it to go more than 2 rounds, and I'm pretty bullish this is going to end early. Pavel Sour is just really not up to much. He's not, at this stage of his career for Arslanbek Makhmudov, not a great opponent for Makhmudov to be pitted against. But I understand the inactivity, and there could be something behind that. But if things drag on for months and he doesn't get a good fight next, or it's another sort of dross opponent later in the year, a lot of people are going to be like, well, he's starting to become a bit of a wasted talent. At 32 years old, they need to start making moves for this guy while he's still in his prime, the best of his prime. But what do you make of this matchup? 23rd of July down in Mexico, Makhmudov returning. Drop a comment loud and often, hit like, hit subscribe, follow me on Twitter, boxing_squared. I'm out.